She walked into the emergency room, her clothes soaked in rain, her hands steady despite the chaos. The world's richest man lay on the table, his face pale, doctors scrambling but failing. "There's nothing we can do," one whispered. But she saw something they did not. With one precise move, she took control. Seconds later, a beeping monitor signaled life. The room fell silent. Who was this mysterious girl? And how did she just do the impossible? Years before that moment, Rita was just a poor girl from a forgotten town, mocked for dreaming too big. No one believed in her, not even her own relatives. They laughed when she said she would become a doctor one day. "People like us do not make it out," they said. "You will end up just like your mother." But Rita refused to listen. Her mother had died when she was 10, collapsing suddenly in their small one-room home. There was no hospital nearby, no doctor willing to come for free. Rita had watched helplessly as life drained from her mother's eyes, her tiny hands gripping her mother's arm, begging her to wake up. That moment haunted her every single day. She worked harder than anyone. At school, she stayed late, studying under streetlights when their electricity was cut. She read old medical books she found in a junk shop, memorizing every page. While other kids played, she shadowed the town's only doctor, offering to clean his office just for a chance to learn. People called her obsessed. Maybe she was, but she had a mission. She would never watch someone die in front of her again. When she got a scholarship to a top medical school, she left everything behind. The city was overwhelming. Skyscrapers, fast cars, people who had never struggled a day in their lives. She was different. While her classmates partied, she studied, dissecting every case, solving medical mysteries before her professors could. She had a gift. But talent was not enough. No matter how brilliant she was always the girl from nowhere. She worked twice as hard to prove herself, but the elite world of medicine was unforgiving. She barely slept. Her body ran on coffee and determination. The pressure crushed others. She thrived in it. Then, one night, everything changed. A frantic call from a hospital, an emergency. A billionaire had collapsed, his bodyguards screaming for help. The best doctors in the world were already there, but none of them could figure out what was killing him. His pulse was fading. They were out of time. Rita was not supposed to be in that room. She was still a junior, not even allowed near such a case. But fate had other plans. Rita stood at the doorway, her heart pounding. She had only been passing by when she heard the panic inside. The world's richest man, James Caldwell, was dying, surrounded by the best doctors in the country, yet no one could save him. She could have walked away. She should have. But something inside her refused. She stepped forward, her eyes scanning the monitors, the desperate faces of the doctors. "Who is she?" one of them snapped, annoyed by her presence. A nurse moved to push her back, but Rita spoke first. "His pupils are dilated unevenly," she said, her voice steady. "And look at his hands. He is not having a heart attack. This is not cardiac failure." The lead doctor turned, eyes narrowing. "Then what is it?" Rita took a deep breath. She had seen this once before, back in her tiny town, when a construction worker had collapsed the same way. Everyone had thought it was a heart attack then too, but it had been something else entirely. Something rare, something deadly, if misdiagnosed. "Internal carotid artery dissection," she said. The room fell silent. A second later, a scoffing laugh. "Ridiculous," one of the senior doctors muttered. "That is incredibly rare." "But it fits," another voice chimed in, a younger doctor, flipping through the billionaire's records. He had complained of neck pain earlier today, and he was on a flight this morning. Could have been triggered by pressure changes. Rita did not wait for approval. She moved swiftly to the crash cart, grabbing a syringe. "We need to administer heparin now," she said. "If we do not, he is minutes away from a fatal stroke." The lead doctor hesitated. Giving the wrong medication now could kill the patient even faster. But Rita's confidence did not waver. "Trust me," she said. There was no time for debate. The billionaire's vitals were crashing. If she was wrong, it would be over. If she was right, she would save the most powerful man on the planet with a single move. A beat of silence. Then, "Do it," the lead doctor ordered. Rita injected the heparin, stepping back as everyone held their breath. The machines beeped wildly, then, stabilization. A pulse. The man's breathing evened out. A ripple of shock spread through the room. She had done it. The lead doctor turned to her, his face unreadable. "Who are you?" he asked. Rita swallowed. "Just a girl who refused to give up." For a moment, no one spoke. The billionaire's vitals stabilized, the chaos in the room slowing as the realization sank in. She had saved him. A junior doctor, barely acknowledged among the ranks of elite physicians, had just outdiagnosed them all. The lead doctor turned to her, his eyes sharp. "Who are you?" Rita hesitated. "Dr. Rita Patel," she said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline rushing through her veins. A murmur spread through the room. Some of them had heard her name before, whispers about the scholarship student who never slept, the one who studied cases before they even happened. But no one had expected this. Before anyone could react further, the hospital doors burst open. Two men in dark suits entered, their movements swift, their expressions unreadable. Caldwell's security. "You," one of them said, pointing at Rita. "Come with us." The other doctors barely had time to protest before she was being ushered out of the emergency room. She did not resist, though her mind raced. Was she in trouble? Had she broken some unspoken rule? She was led through a series of hallways until she reached a private waiting area. The silence was suffocating. Then, the door opened. A woman in a navy blue suit entered. Tall, composed, exuding power. Caldwell's personal assistant. "Dr. Patel," the woman said, taking a seat across from her. "Mr. Caldwell is alive because of you. That is not something we take lightly." Rita remained quiet. She could not tell if this was praise or a warning. The woman continued. "You saw something no one else did. You acted when others hesitated. That kind of skill is rare, and it does not go unnoticed." Rita shifted in her seat. "I just did what needed to be done." A small smile crossed the woman's lips. "That is exactly what Mr. Caldwell wants in his personal medical team." Rita's breath caught. She had spent years being ignored, overlooked, forced to fight for every opportunity. And now, in the span of minutes, she was being offered something she never imagined, an invitation into a world of power, wealth, and influence. "You are offering me a job?" she asked, her voice careful. "Not just a job," the assistant said. "A position few ever get to hold. You would be Mr. Caldwell's direct medical consultant. His health is worth billions, and we only trust the best." The room seemed to shrink around her. This was beyond anything she had prepared for. A part of her wanted to say yes immediately, but another part of her hesitated. Was she ready for this? Could she handle the pressure? Before she could respond, the assistant leaned forward. "You do not have to answer now," she said. "But understand this. Opportunities like this do not come twice." Rita nodded slowly. The weight of the decision pressed against her. She had fought her whole life for a moment like this. The only question was, what would she do next? Rita sat frozen, her mind racing. This was everything she had worked for. Recognition, an opportunity beyond anything she had imagined. But something about it felt overwhelming. A job like this would put her at the center of power, yet it also meant stepping into a world where mistakes were not forgiven. She took a breath. "Before I decide," she said carefully, "I need to see him." The assistant studied her for a moment, then nodded. "Follow me." Minutes later, Rita stood inside a private hospital suite where James Caldwell lay propped against crisp white pillows. His skin, once pale, had regained some color. The very man whose signature could move markets, whose words shaped industries, was staring right at her. "You are the one who saved me," he said, his voice weak but firm. Rita nodded. "Yes." Caldwell let out a tired chuckle. "Then I suppose I owe you a thank you." His sharp eyes studied her, as if trying to understand what kind of person she was. "They tell me you are just a junior doctor. Yet, you knew what none of them did." "How?" Rita met his gaze without hesitation. "Because I never stopped paying attention. Medicine is not about power or reputation. It is about seeing what is right in front of you." The assistant cleared her throat. "Mr. Caldwell, as I mentioned, we have extended Dr. Patel an offer to join your personal medical team." Caldwell nodded slowly, but his focus remained on Rita. "And what do you think about that?" Rita hesitated. The answer should have been simple. This was the kind of opportunity people dreamed of. A direct path to success, resources beyond imagination, a career set for life. But in the back of her mind, she heard her mother's voice, the memory of that day when she had died in their small home, with no one to help her. She had not become a doctor for money. She had not fought against all odds just to serve the elite. She had done it for people like her mother, for those who did not have a team of doctors ready to save them. She took a deep breath. "I am honored," she said carefully, "but I cannot accept." The assistant's eyes widened slightly. Even Caldwell seemed surprised. "And why is that?" he asked, his voice genuinely curious. "Because there are millions of people out there who do not get second chances," Rita said. "And I want to be the doctor who fights for them." Silence filled the room. Then Caldwell did something unexpected. He smiled. "You are different," he said. "And that is exactly why I want to help you." Rita frowned. "Help me?" Caldwell nodded. "I am a businessman, Dr. Patel. I invest in things that matter, and I think you matter." He glanced at his assistant. "Get the paperwork ready. I want to fund whatever hospital or clinic she wants to build. No limitations." Rita's breath caught. "You cannot be serious." Caldwell chuckled. "I do not make a habit of joking about money. You saved my life. Let me return the favor." For the first time in years, Rita felt something she had not allowed herself to. Hope. She had walked into this hospital as an unknown, a girl no one believed in. And now, she was about to change the world.